Hello, and welcome to the Frivolous and Frugal Knitting Podcast. We are two sisters who share our fondness for knitting, the things that we create, and our love for the knitting community. And we do it with a little twist of both the frivolous and the frugal. I am Frivolous Dawn, and I am fourth in our family's birth order.
Hello, and I am Frugal Miss Penny, and I am the eldest in the birth order. We also have two other members of our team, and that is number 3 in the birth order, our faithful Nikki, our dear sister, statistician, cheerleader, encourager, and all-around support system. And also, we have the daughter of number 7, who is fearless Miss Brianna. So we are so thankful that you found us. We have no idea how you found us, but we're glad you did. And if you're a returning viewer, we have a hearty shout out and welcome back to you. Thanks so much for joining us again. As always, we hope that you can glean a nugget or two from our musings, our mistakes, and our misguided adventures. And if this is the first, we do have some of those, you know. we sometimes, what's that?
I said often we have those.
Yes, we may dress them up and gussy them up with a nice euphemism, but they're nevertheless a misguided adventure. And for those of you who are seeing us for the first time, we're so glad you're joining us. The heart of Dawn and I is to share what we're learning and also to just hopefully inspire you and encourage you in your knitting. So grab your knitting, your favorite note-taking device, and your sense of humor for episode 81 of the Frivolous and Frugal podcast. Take it away, Dawn.
I just have to know what is bright and pink over your shoulder.
Oh, well, it's going to be a blast from your current past. This is Tenacity. And Tenacity was a knitting with the aunties knit along that we did. And do I dare try to take it off and bring it up to the...
I think if you could show it, of course, I just love the pattern of this. And I think last time you showed it, we didn't get to do a I Spy moment.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. So here is Tenacity by Cold Comfort Knits. It is a very long lace wrap, as you can see, absolutely beautiful. Fearless Brianna and Dawn and I knit this during 2021. I knit mine out of the Valley Yarn Company's Charlemont base in the Raspberry Rose colorway. I knit mine on a size 3, 2, I think on a size 2. And on the frugalometer, 3 for the fiber and $2 for the pattern. Beautiful. I think mine was just at 100 inches, 102, something like that. Could you see that? Did I leave it up long enough so people could see?
That was perfect. And I know that's hard to show it because you probably lose view of the camera. But
oh yeah, I do.
Yeah, several people have asked us to show things a little closer if we can. So
okay.
Look at you styling her. Well, while she's doing that, I'll tell you that my mannequin is wearing Slipstravaganza by my dear Susanne West. I kind of forget how pretty this is. This was his mystery knit along 2 years ago, and it was the first mystery knit along that I did with his, and since have been obsessed. Now the yarns are all from Mode. I'm going to get this right here. ModeKnit yarns, and the base is ModeLuxe sock, and it has a little bit of silk in it. So there's 3 different grays, and then this lovely little pink. Now it's a little brighter than the picture showing. This is a huge half circle. You know what? He is just brilliant, and I know I say that, but now this is a little hard for me to wear because to show all of it, it goes from my neck down to, like, you know, past your waist. So probably should wear it more like a traditional shawl, like you see here, because they're still beautiful up front. You just would miss this honeycomb kind of thing. So yeah, and I did it on a US 4, if there's a typical Stephen West pattern. Yep, on a US 4. And I called the pattern a 2 on the frugalometer and the yarn a 3. So
it's beautiful, Dawn. Stunning. It's a showstopper.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, and we didn't even plan it, but we both have pink in our, look at that.
Stop it.
I know.
We'll start to
Sisters,
expect it.
sisters.
Now, what are you wearing?
Well, for the moment, it comes off my head and my hair goes flat. You know what's going on. I am wearing the Audrey cardigan. Again, this was an anti-knit along with Miss Brianna. It is by Elizabeth Smith, knit in the Berroco Ultra Wool Chunky in the chambray or denim colorway, one of the two. I didn't write it down. On US sizes 9 and 10. And on the Frugalometer, I gave the pattern a 2 and the yarn a 4. So here's what I'm discovering. I have worn this now, oh, maybe 7, 8, 9 times, and it is pilling.
Oh, is it really?
Not just in friction spots, it is pilling. Now, I am assuming that maybe others is doing the same thing. So I would suggest if you use the Berroco Ultra Chunky, Ultra Wool Chunky, just keep in mind, you better have a gleaner of some type because it is pilling. I wouldn't say horribly, but more than I would have expected from a wool.
Yeah. Wow. And that's good to know. I have a gleaner that's never been out of the box. Yeah, so it's something to have a gleaner. It's another thing to know how to use it. So, I will.
Yes.
I
And
will
what is adorning your shoulders?
No, gosh, I wear this a lot. This is the Colorshift. It's a pattern by Carina Spencer. It's a paid for pattern on Ravelry, and it is hands down the most knitted item I wear. Did I say that right? This is the item that I've knit that I wear the most often, just for this very reason. It just drops over your shoulders. And if I'm hot, I can take it off. Now, this is interesting construction. If you're unfamiliar with it, if you're looking for a good scrappy project, I would recommend this. This is all knit with my scrap yarns, all in the grays, obviously. Because it's a paid for pattern, I won't give it too many things away, but the stitch count stays the same for the entire cowl. You change needle sizes. And so I think we started with the 6 and you go 7, 8, 9, 10. And then incrementally along the way, you start grabbing more yarn. So you initially start with 2 strands of fingering weight yarn. Eventually you pull in strand number 3 and then strand number 4. Now I did not change yarns as the pattern called for. I changed as my scrap yarn ran out. I would just connect another one. So you'll see that the flow is not probably perfectly marled, but I'm thinking I need a couple of these just because of ease of wearing. And so the one that you showed with lace, maybe next time, or do you have it?
I have it.
Oh, several people wanted you to try that on just to see.
All right. Just so you know, I should have been born a giraffe, okay, to wear this. I knit it in lace weight. So.
Oh, yeah. But see, puddle it like, this, you see what I've done? I just turned it down.
I'm going to have to do that 4 times, I think. And I'm broad shouldered, just so you all, well, there's probably some things that don't need to be stated, but I am broad shouldered.
Oh, that is. So the difference in lace is that, isn't it? Because you see how airy this is, or how.
Yeah. Now this will fit my daughter-in-laws nicely because they're not as built as I am. I mean, I'm just broad shouldered. So, this is over a sweater. So it's probably not a good representation. Now I like it like this.
Me too.
But I don't know if it would stay that way throughout the day. It might. So I don't mind this part. In fact, I might try it again and do one for me. But yeah, you're right. I do have to fold it over. Otherwise, you can see my hair going flat, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah. And fingering weight made a big difference.
I like the fingering and I like the lace weight. Don't you?
I think I need a lace weight. I have no lace weight yarn.
Okay. So I'll tell you what, the next time we get together, I'll bring this and let you try it on and see what you think.
Okay. Yeah.
But do I like it? Absolutely. It was good for my brain, good for my soul to knit. I like the way she wrote the pattern and the construction of it. Might be the cowl for this year's Christmas gifts. I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Can you believe I said I had no lace weight in my stash?
Yeah, is that true? Or
Well,
you?
okay,
Yes.
okay, maybe not,
Uh-huh.
because mohair is considered lace, right?
And
I
you
have
probably have a truckload of that.
no, not a truckload. Not a,
Wheelbarrow?
maybe. All right.
All right.
Oh, since you just saw the flash of color, I'll tell you what's on my needles.
Yes.
As I'm working here. So this is just an update on my latest Musselburgh or Musselburgh, a pattern by Ysolda Teague. It's a paid for pattern on Ravelry. Is this yarn not spectacular? It is Gauge Dye Works. The color is Color Wheel. And it is just this beautiful colors changing self-striping. I think this is where I was probably last time in the pinks. So I am just starting the greens, and I just weighed this before I started the stockinette portion after I did the increase. So I'm going to try using her Excel document to see how long I can get this. So I use every inch of this yarn. So this is a color, not a color, this is a fingering weight yarn or sock weight yarn. Again, I told you the color work is the Color Wheel is the name. I see that on their Instagram page this week, Gauge Dye Works came out with this yarn in worsted. And now they came out with the solar system one too, but I did not buy either. Let the record so reflect. Work it down.
Let it reflect ellipses and then the word yet, because you keep thinking about it, Dawn.
It might be on the screen that you can't see in the buy now button. So I'm using a US 3, an adult large. I usually like to go to about 22 inches so that I have, that's a nice length for me so that I can get the flip or the brim to go around the ears. I would call the pattern 3 on the frugalometer, and I would call the yarn 3. I did buy 2 skeins of this, so.
Oh, did you?
So if you think of another use for it, let me know.
Well, no, I do have one question though. Miss Ysolda, if you're happening to watch our podcast, would you please tell us the correct pronunciation? Because we have heard it as Musselburgh, Musselburgh, Musselburgh. I just want to know the correct pronunciation.
On her video, I think she calls it Musselburgh.
Musselburgh.
You know, like Edinburgh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Edinburgh.
Yeah. Edinburgh. There you go. That's probably the right pronunciation. So, and thank you for watching if she's watching.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
How arrogant was that little comment I just made?
Well, that or we live in La La Land. Whatever.
Of course we do.
That's right. La La Land. It's kind of like growing up in Iowa. That was kind of like a La La Land too.
Shangri-La la la. Okay, what else is on your needles?
Well, how about you? What are you knitting on?
Well, I'm still monogamous. And so I am knitting on a pattern that is free on Ravelry, and it is called Annie, the Annie cowl. And really, this picture does not do it justice because I would not print it in color. I only print it in black and white. However, it's a textured reversible cowl. So it has a pattern on the front and a pattern on the back. I am using stash yarn because that's part of my experiment this year, purchasing no new patterns and no new yarn. So let me just kind of show you. One side of this cowl, it'll be an infinity cowl, is this textured rib, which is just very cute. And the opposite side is untextured.
Get out.
Yeah. I am knitting it in yarn from my stash. I have a blast from the past for you, Dawn. This was a Lorna's lace that we purchased during the first Knit Stars event in the breakthrough. Yeah, it's that old. So what would that have been? 2016, 2017?
Probably.
Yeah, I'm guessing it was probably right around there. And it is in the breakthrough something pattern. Anyway, colorway. It's a speckle. I'm not a fan of speckled yarn. For me, I think it hides stitch definition, but I had a wonky amountage of yarn. So I'm going to be short for the pattern. The pattern called for a DK. This is sport. It is, I would say, a light DK. But anyway, I wanted to use it up and it will be a Christmas gift. So on the Frugalometer, when I purchase the yarn, the fiber, it earns $4 signs and the pattern is a $1 sign. And I forgot to tell you who it's by. It's by Jane Richmond.
Wow. And you know, you were the topic of discussion on Tuesday's Zoom.
Why is that?
After the last podcast, because when you brought out your UFO or whip from like 2007.
Oh, yes.
We didn't know she had whips from 2007. I said, I don't know. I was just shocked as you were.
I have whips from 2003.
Ooh, so we can hold our breath waiting for those.
It will be the next UFO that I tackle. The problem is I ran out of yarn. It is discontinued. I've looked for it and you'll see it when I bring it on. I'm just going to have to modify it now.
Well, we can put the call out too. Maybe somebody else has some in their stash.
Well, that's true. Enough about me. I want to see what else is on your needles.
Well, let's look at Eweye, which we lovingly have dubbed EIEIO. This is you know what? This looks stunning on screen.
It does.
Wow, this is a pattern by Olga Jazzy. Boy, you can.
That is beautiful. I've got to do that one.
You guys, the 3D of this is amazing.
It sure is. We can see it.
Wow,
it's beautiful.
Beautiful,
beautiful.
So, this is. I'm not even halfway. I think I'm just starting repeat number 7 of 14. So the rows are getting a little longer. I was hoping to get through a 48 row repeat every other day. About every 5 or 6 days at this point. This is Woolfolk yarn. This is the pattern. This is the yarn that was in the pattern. So it is the Tav DK base. I'm using cream, gray, and charcoal. And I'm using a US size 6. I am loving it. Now, I'll tell you, it's still not intuitive to me as far as the pattern yet, but several other people on the Tuesday night Zoom are doing it, and it's become intuitive for them. And so they're either about where I'm at or a little bit farther, so I'm hoping that happens. I still grab the wrong yarn at times and have to rip out a section. I would call the pattern 3 on the Frugalometer. I would call the yarn 5 based on my purchasing of the wrong yarns. Yeah, wow, that is just pretty.
It is. It is just pretty.
So for me, I do like, well, obviously look at what's behind me. I do like that eye-catching technique. She is brilliant. This is all slip stitches. So anybody who's out there saying there's no way I can do that, I would think if you're an adventurous beginner and you don't mind doing slip stitches, the beauty is in the slip stitch. And so very well written pattern. She just came out with another one this week that we all awed over and may have purchased. Yeah, so again, UI by Olga Jazzy.
And do you remember, Dawn, a couple of episodes back when we were asking our viewers what their favorite knitting technique was? Several people said the slip stitch because of its versatility.
Yeah. And I think, you know, the mosaic, it just lends itself to color change with not necessarily the 2-stranded Fair Isle color work techniques. So,
right.
So many beautiful patterns. It's amazing
Yes.
to me. All right, I'll give you an update on my number 29 Flowery scarf by Susanne Ederleh. All right, so it is done with 2 colors of Zauberball. It would be nice if I showed you the front side. All right, here we go. There's where it starts, and it just keeps going.
Dawn.
I know. I know. It keeps
Oh
going.
my goodness.
Now, here's my dilemma, and I would love some input. All done with German short rows, by the way. And the coloring of the Zauberball is spectacular. I do put the names on my Ravelry page. They are numbers, but they're also German names that I can't pronounce as far as the colorways. And I'm doing this on a US 6. So the pattern says that I'm supposed to do 23 leaves.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just at the end of my first Zauberball. So a lot of people in the class ended there at 15 leaves so that they had enough to do there's a full I-cord border.
Around the entire shawl.
And I've seen some done with the wedge color and I've seen some done with the leaf color. Both are really pretty. Now I bought 2 skeins of each, so I'm going to be okay either way. Now it also says it's 72 inches. If you do the full one, the 23. So not to confuse it, I'm at like 18. So I'm past where everybody else stopped, but I'm already longer than the pattern calls for. So do I end it now? If I were to wear this, and if I don't wrap it around my neck, it goes to just above my knees on both sides. Now, and that's not without a block. But I have more yarn. Should I just keep going and doing what the pattern says and go all the way to 23?
You know what I would ask you, is it long enough to wear it the way you like to wear it?
Well, no, it's not. And but would you wear this one wrapped around your neck? Most people just wear it literally over just like this.
Oh, okay.
But could I?
Yeah, that way you can see.
Oh, you know what though? If I had it coming down the other way, you would just lose the design here, but the color would be there. You could wrap it around your neck, couldn't you?
Yeah.
All right. I answered my own question. I'll keep going.
Okay.
And then I'll have the I-cord done sometime between now and the end of the decade. That's a long.
No, you won't, because you knit in your sleep. So it'll be done in a week.
That is a long applied I-cord. Oh,
Yes,
what do you think? My temptation is to stay with the dark for the border.
It would allow then your pink contrast color to pop if you did that.
Yeah.
Because if you put the pink on the border, our eyes are going to go probably to your border, not to your leaves.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you want us to see.
Yeah, I may have to try a little bit of both. Because we're doing short rows, I will now tell you that we are going to cast on the Papillon shawl July 1. So it is a lot of German short rows. And if you are interested, start looking for your yarns. All right.
Are you going to, oh, never mind.
What?
I'll let you tell us what you choose when it gets closer to that time.
I've picked a couple already.
I wondered if you might have. Uh-huh. Okay.
The last thing that's currently on my needles will be to show. I'm taking a class on the Ranunculus, the pattern by Midori Hirose, knit by like 11,000 projects on Ravelry. It is white.
Oh, Dawn, I like it.
Yeah, I'm just now starting raglan increases.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm holding 2 strands of yarn. I am holding a strand of mohair. Now I'm using Knit Picks Aloft, and I'm telling you, I'm finding it delightful to work with.
Well, good.
Much better price point than Rowan if you're looking for a yarn that is mohair, but not as expensive. And then this is the yarn I'm using. It is by Plymouth. It's called Reserve Sport Solid. It's in the natural colorway, but it is white. So I'm holding 2 strands, and the pattern calls for a US 10. I like the fabric better on a US 9. So I will have to start when I go to try it on after the raglan increases. I'll have to maybe adjust sizes based on the pattern. So it's a brilliant pattern. I know 11,000 people have knit it. It is brilliant.
Yes.
And then I only know the new updated pattern. So it came with the different sizes and different weights. So I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
You are a testimony, or a testament, I should say, of what it means to learn. You've never knit sweaters until recently, and look at you tackling something that was unfamiliar. And yet look at you going to town. Boy, oh boy. I admire that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Mohair, you guys, you got it. Put mohair in something. Okay, put mohair in everything. That would work. Now, the only other stuff on my needles are my monthly things. So,
Okay.
yeah, and I tried to do a lucky dip this month. Well, for March, I was picking a cowl pattern, and it was beautiful pattern, beautiful yarn, but the two did not work well together. So I ended up frogging that. So my lucky dip this month is sock weight yarn. So not sure what I'm going to do with that, whether I'll crank a pair of socks or whether I will maybe do another cowl. We'll see. So, but that's currently what's on my needles. So what is off your needles?
Well, probably a few stitches here that I'm going to have to frog because I just realized I have a mistake. My goodness. Anyway, I only have one thing off my needles, and it is soon to be put in the giveaway box. I finally finished the Baby Bolero by Debbie Bliss.
Oh, look at that.
Just a cute little thing. I'm not at all pleased with how I did on this. In fact, I would never gift it, never, nor would I ask anyone to wear it. It just is not as polished as I wanted it to be. And I got thinking the other day, I believe it has a lot to do with my yarn choice. I chose a cotton rather than the cashmere. And I believe that's probably why, but it'll probably not even go to the giveaway, to be honest. It'll probably go in the trash bin.
Don't do that.
I would not give it to someone as a gift. I'm not going to give it to a charity.
Oh.
So it was, it's a pattern by Debbie Bliss, and I knit it in Ederleh baby cotton in the peony colorway on a US size 2. I gave it a single $sign for the fiber, and I gave it, let me look here very quickly, a $3 sign for the pattern.
Now, I just had a weird thought. Could that fit for a dog? For people who put sweaters on their dogs?
Oh yeah, but I wouldn't want anyone to get close enough to look at it and admire it. Yeah, maybe, but no, I'm going to pitch it right after we record.
Oh man.
Yeah, I am, but that's okay because I think I learned a valuable lesson.
Well, why don't you repurpose the yarn for dishcloths? If it's cotton, or is it cotton acrylic?
No, it's 100% cotton.
Oh, yeah.
That will go in the UFO bin at the very, very bottom because I have no desire to frog it right now.
Okay, yeah,
I just finished it so I could learn how to do that shawl collar in a different way.
Yeah.
And I did that. It just does not look polished. That's the best I can say. And that's my own fault. Wrong yarn for the project.
Yep, we both learned that this month, didn't we?
We did. Absolutely.
All right. Well,
so, what's off your needles?
I think you need to see a little mohair, don't you?
Wouldn't be quite an episode without mohair now, would it?
It is done. Look at this.
Look. Oh, Dawn.
Oh,
very pretty.
Lovely mohairish as it looks. Oh, it's a dream. Okay. So this is Asymmetric Shawl by Georgia. Oh, no, Georgia Farrell. I keep wanting to say Farrell. I don't know why. She's designs for Rowan. This is in the Rowan number 70 magazine. This is all Rowan Kidsilk Haze. If you buy the pattern, these are the yarns that are in the picture. You know what? It is just, look at that mohair fun. All right, so here's how I would wear this. Now, these are not my colors, so if I look a little jaundiced when I'm wearing this, it's not liver failure. I think I would just wear it like that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Don't you think? Ooh.
Yes, I absolutely do.
Yeah, it's beautiful. This greeny yellow that does not work well with my coloring, but I literally knit it to pattern. It is far larger than I thought it was going to be. So it is my wingspan. I knit it on a US 6. I would call the yarn $4 signs. I would call the pattern 5. If you have some mohair, what a delightful, and this is just a simple asymmetric shawl. So in a frugal alternative, I would probably go on to Ravelry to see if you could find a asymmetric shawl. Yeah.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful.
I like it. So that is going to be a shop model. So I probably will not see it again for a while. Very good. So I'm very happy with it. So I'm going to now start, I think it's called Wayworn. It is a pattern by Melanie Berg that I'm going to hold a mohair with a lace. So I don't know if I'll get that cast on, hopefully in the next month or so. The other shawl that I finished was the Opepe.
Has anyone told us the correct pronunciation for that yet?
I asked at Silver Thimble and they said Opepe.
They did?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
It is was part of our mystery Advent kit.
Oh, I like it more now than I liked it before, and I really liked it before.
Unbelievable, much larger. I would have said it was a bib, but it's still small for me, but it's going my wingspan, which I would say is about 75 inches. Let's see if I can come in a little bit closer. This is Harriet, the blue and the brown is Harriet Fine by Juniper Moon. The white, you guys, is amazing. Well, you know what? Am I off on that? 2 of them are Harriet and one of them is Llama Lace by Queensland. I did make one modification and it came at the end. Not that I was in a hurry to finish. The pattern calls, do you see this border at the bottom?
Yes.
They wanted back and forth of a brown and a white and to end with a different color. I forget which order. I just did not want my eyes going there. I wanted my eyes to stay blue. You know what I mean? When you see a contrasting color to border, your eyes pull. And so I just thought, I just like the look of it better. I tried both and I like this look. So, and I literally followed it to pattern on a US 4. And, you know, the yarn came in the kit. If I had to guess, it was 100 grams of all 3 of those colors. It's the first time I've did a pattern from this designer. Where I got frustrated along the way, and you can see it now. These geometric shapes were hard for me to see working close with there's a little bit of fur, there's a little bit of halo to this yarn. So again, not my colors, but I think I'm gonna like it.
Oh, yes.
I'm thinking like over a blue jean jacket, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
You think?
Absolutely.
Oh, and it smells nice too. Eucalyptus. Yeah, so let's see the details on this one. Where is it? Pattern, I gave it a $2 sign. Yarn, I gave it 3. Now it was part of a kit, so I was just guessing. It is a paid for pattern on Ravelry. When you see the one on Ravelry, it's done in pastels and looks totally different. And so Tina, who put this together, was just brilliant in her color selection.
I think so too. I like the contrast.
Yeah, and you know, I think it's good for me to do some of these with colors outside of my traditional comfort zone. It makes sense that I stay in with the colors I wear the most, but every once in a while. Yeah, so that, well, I'll get pictures taken of that. Okay, and then my monthly things that I finished last week. This is the last Celtic quilt. This was month number 7 of 9. There's a couple of places on this one, if you look close, that I may have to go in and do the duplicate stitch just for a little more stitch definition, but maybe not. I don't know. I'll have to see.
Why? What part are you not feeling comfortable with?
Let me see if I can see it. Because when it was blocking, it was obvious to me. Oh, well, maybe not as obvious as I thought. You see-
Obvious with,
you see where you just don't get a crisp turn of that cable?
mhm.
So maybe in a blanket that won't matter.
No.
But every once in a while you can see where I'm just off a little bit. They're blocking 17 inches square. We are just starting number 8 of 9 now. So I'll be interested to see in the months to come how she puts them together. I'm using
Yeah.
Encore, Plymouth Encore in the light gray and dark, or I think it's a light gray and medium gray. And I am following it to pattern as far as needle size. So I'm using a 7 and an 8 as called for. Louise O'Neill is the designer. The name of the pattern is Celtic Quilt Mystery number 4. Another brilliant, she's just a brilliant designer as far as cables go. I'm getting much more comfortable with cables. I continue to use the cable needle for the majority of it. I'm just comfortable. If this is something I do in the future, maybe again, challenge myself to go to not using cable needles, but yeah, so woo, 7 done. And then the last one is my monthly building block. This is oh, that shows up much better there, doesn't it?
Oh, yes.
This is a pattern by Michelle Hunter. It's actually a book. I'm taking a class. I'm learning to knit continental. And so my gauge is still loose. I think these are supposed to be 12 inches square. Mine are 14 inches. I'm on a US 9. And bobbles. Oh, I do not like bobbles. I did use Stephen West's version of doing bobbles as opposed to Michelle Hunter's.
Okay.
They're getting more uniform, but then to do them continental was like a laughing matter too.
But again, Dawn, you're learning and trying something new. How impressive is that?
Yeah, this is Simply Worsted by Skacel. Really nice yarn. I'm liking it. So of course, all of my squares will be white and I bought black for the border. No surprise to anybody. Frugalometer 2 for the pattern, because you get the whole book and there's 12 squares. We just, Nan just ordered us another book by Encore with another 12 or 18 squares. So some people wanted their blanket more than 12 squares. So I did go ahead and purchase the book. But you know, I was going through the books I have at home. And is it Cascade who did those book series called 60 Quick, whatever, 60 Quick Scarves, 60 Quick Baby Items? I have a 60 Quick blanket squares.
I don't think I've seen that one.
And it has to be old. There's not a sticker on it where I purchased it from. But I wonder too if that wouldn't work for something if you wanted to just keep going and do a block a month. And
Sure.
so again, it is an old pattern or an old book. I don't even know if it's still in print, but I believe it all uses Cascade 220.
And speaking of old patterns, those of us who remember know the Leisure Arts Company produced several sampler, I've got them in my collection, several sampler books on Afghans as well.
Yeah,
with blocks.
Right. You don't hear that name anymore, do you?
No, but if you look at Goodwill, you can still find them.
Yeah, nice.
Or any other thrift shop.
The discussion we had the other day was, well, next year, will I keep doing monthly things? I like the product at the end of the year. So we'll see. Because like right now I have no scrappy project on the needle and I would like to do that. So maybe one year I'll focus on a scrappy year-long project and the next year do maybe a knit along. So I'm kind of in my head tinkering with Japanese knitting.
Are you?
There's several ladies doing a year-long like Japanese knit along where you knit a scarf and every month you do about 4 inches of a different lace pattern. And what they're doing is stunning.
Ooh.
So, and another gal is doing Shetland lace, a little bit a month for a year.
Oh.
So what a nice way to dabble.
Is that an organized event?
Yeah, yep. She found it on Ravelry.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, that is what is off my needles. So what are you learning?
Currently and in the moment, how not to make mistakes. So you have to frog. But The long thing lesson that I learned this week, I already mentioned, the importance of right fiber for the project. That was a painful lesson, but it was a lesson I need to learn. I need to be more conscientious about the fiber I choose for the project. I originally knit it in cotton because I was giving it to a baby that was born in the South, and I thought cotton would be just much more pleasant to wear in that climate. And it still would be. Cotton would be very good. However, for this pattern, it wasn't the right choice.
You know, you for a long time have mentioned your desire to work on finishing techniques. So what a nice thing that you're willing to just try different techniques, and you'll, keep trying until you're going to find a method that works for you. And that probably is based on pattern and yarn too.
It is. And I'm just going to bare my soul here. And I'm not proud of this at all, but I'm going to show you how pitiful some of this finishing is. When I do a seam, I don't want it to look wonky like this. I want it to look nice and finished. See how that's raised? And I tried several techniques. I could not get that.
Okay.
And then when I picked up for the sleeves, this is where I'm most frustrated, is you can see my sleeve seam. That is not pretty. That's not finished. It looks even worse on the right side because I didn't pick up enough stitches. See, that is terrible. And when I did pick those stitches up, it made the inside seam even bulkier.
Really?
I tried 5 or 6 different techniques, laying it flat, weaving it through. And what happened, and this is what I think, but someone much smarter than me is going to have to give me the answer. And I'm sure somebody will be able to do that. It is the edges of the pieces that I'm piecing together. So if you take a look at my scarf here that I'm working on, you can see that it has a very nice edge because the first stitch is slipped.
Right.
So it has a very pretty edge, very defined, easy to count. So if I were to seam this, I'm predicting that it would seem very pretty. I could do the inside weaving where I weave through this, the ladder on the stitch and go from the left to the right, right to the left. I think it would seem very pretty. But on these pieces, I didn't slip stitches. I just started the knitting and it left a wonky edge. So I'm hopeful that when I start the master knitting certification program, someone there will teach me how to knit in such a way that my finishing is polished. This is just outright embarrassing. I mean, I'm just going to show you one more time. I'm not going to kick the dead horse, but look at that. That's just ugly. So anyway, my hope is I learn how to do this in a better way so that my pieces look polished.
And maybe when you do that conference with the master knitters,
yes,
they'll point you in the right.
I'm hoping. I'm going to watch every segment I'm finishing with bated breath and take notes and rewatch it, because to me, I don't want it to look like something I just knit in 7th grade home ec, right? I want it to be nicely constructed. I want it to be finished, polished, not perfect, but polished enough that the recipient is not embarrassed to wear it, right? And so finishing, I'm just going to show one more thing. And the reason I wore this sweater is to point out a mistake. So please learn from my mistakes. I flip over my cuffs on my sweaters. You can see where I wove in ends if I flip my cuffs.
Oh yeah, you can see it.
So that's just not polished. And so I'm going to have to unweave them back to the inside, several stitches, so that when I fold over my cuffs, you can't see them. But see, those are the touches I think that really set the product apart. So I'm learning.
I can extrapolate that why patterns are not pieced anymore. right? Why we've gone to circular low yokes or raglans, because now that isn't necessary. You know, that becomes something you don't have to deal with. But there's something about a set-in sleeve or that is so polished. And like you said, you look at the people who do that. And when I watch their podcast, their garments are just, I don't know, finished, right? It looks spectacular, but that has to come with a lot of practice. And
so are we shooting ourselves in the foot by avoiding learning how to do these techniques that have endured over time? You know, if you don't do it, you don't become good at it. You don't become skilled. So if everything's a raglan sleeve or it's not pieced, you're not ever forced, if you will, to learn how to piece a garment together in a polished manner. I can see both positive and negative on that.
yeah, casual versus a more formal look.
Absolutely.
So if casual is your thing, then yeah.
Right.
So.
And there's a place for both. But for me personally, I'm really not a faddish knitter. I'm much more a classic knitter. So for me, these are skills that I want to hone. And you can obviously see from this pitiful garment that I have a long way to go.
Well, you're learning. So that's it's a messy process, right?
It is a messy process and humbling, by the way. There's absolutely nothing I can boast about in that sweater. Nothing, not a thing.
Well, pretty color.
Well, it was on sale.
Of
It
course.
was yeah, well, of course it was. It was on the no longer liked table or whatever that is. I don't know.
Put and take.
Oh, that's what it was. There you go. Please take. Anyway, what are you learning?
Well, was it in the 1980s we said we were totally tubular? I don't know.
That's your 1980s, not my 1980s.
That's probably right up there with groovy. Anyway, so what I learned is on the Ranunculus, it's the first time I've had to do a tubular cast on. So I watched a bunch of different videos. The one I ended up with was Roxanne Richardson's. I looked at Andrea Mowry's Very Pink Knits, but I enjoyed learning the tubular cast on, which then for the bigger picture for me is I am liking different bind offs and different casts on based on the project. So Stephen West is a huge I-cord bind off. But for instance, that shawl, the blue and white one, you did the I-cord as you went. And so it was a I-cord cast on, and then both ends were finished. The Eweye is one of the most brilliant brilliant I-cord cast ons I have ever done. And how she has you incorporating the yarn into the I-cord edging so that you're not cutting that yarn for every color change. You're carrying all three of those yarns with you. And I don't even know where it's at. You can't see it. It's amazing how they think that through. So I appreciate that. I've not done a tubular bind off. Why do I have a suspicion maybe that's coming in this sweater? But I like the look of a tubular cast on. So
cool.
I actually enjoyed the learning process. It took me about 4 times to get the look I liked. I don't know about you, but the first time I'm learning a new technique, it never looks super nice the first few times. And, you know, when you're only casting on, 60 or 70 stitches, it was worth tearing out or frogging it back and then doing it again. So even with the mohair, it was not a bad deal at all.
I have a quick question. Did you put those videos that you used in your show note, or not in your show notes, in your project notes?
I didn't, but I will. The actual link. Yeah.
Just because I would like to try hers since you used it, but I don't know that I'll remember her name, but I could go to your show notes and find it, or project notes and find it.
I will do that. And then the other thing I have to learn too is, I'm trying Knit Companion and really liking it as an app. I put a lot of notes in there. So I'm trying when I finish a project to take the notes that I've put in Knit Companion and put them into Ravelry. So, because, I forget little changes I make. And if I ever want to do a project again, or at least learn from, that technique, I could have a reference. So,
Very good.
right. So what is going on at Frivolous and Frugal?
Well, there are some changes in the wind. So if you usually click off now, I encourage you to stay on for just a moment. We're going to do the giveaways and then an announcement. We are getting ready for episode 82. Next will be the YouTube giveaway. So we will pose a question during episode 82 and then select a winner from those of you who leave a comment. By the way, thank you for all of you who leave comments. It is such a treat to have you give us tips and tidbits, to suggest things for us, or to just pass along ideas. So thanks so much for making time to do that. The next giveaway for the Finish, Fix, Flip, or Frog Cowl will be during episode 84 as well. So if you are not posting on that thread, please be sure to do so. It is in Ravelry. This episode, we are giving away 2 gifts for the Fab and Frugal Cowl. And thank you once again, Miss Norma, for moderating that for us. There are 2 threads. One has just pictures of finished objects. And remember, you need to finish something that you've already started and using materials that you already possess. The other thread is a chat thread. So you're welcome to join either or both. First of all, our first winner for this episode in the Fab and Frugal Cowl is Bork P. Miss Peggy. Thank you so much for posting pictures of your beautiful socks. We are just amazed at, I was, especially by the colors and how you put those together. So please contact Dawn. You have won a pattern of your choice not to exceed $10 and she will hook you up. Our second winner for this cowl is Passion for Knitting. And we are so excited, Miss Lorraine, that you were selected by Random Number Generator for the beautiful shawls that you have posted. Eye-catching, show-stopping. Thank you for doing that. And once again, you have won a pattern of your choice not to exceed $10. If you will message Dawn, she will make sure you get that pattern. In March, as we're finishing up March, we did the thinking cap. And then for April, I just realized once again, I forgot to put that in my show notes, but it won't take but a second to pull that up. We are knitting a different pattern for the month of April. If you are interested in knitting that with us, we encourage you to do so. And the pattern for April is Oh Bother, and it is by Barbara Benson. So please feel free to join us in that. We will select a different pattern for the month of May. The My Dear Stephen West cowl, the next winners will be announced in episode 84. So please don't hesitate to go ahead and put your latest pattern in project in progress or completed in that thread to be eligible for a gift. All right, now open Zoom knitting still every Tuesday night from 6 to 8 Central Time, hosted by your favorite Frivolous Dawn. And we encourage you to join that. It is a very relaxed and informal time of knitting. So please, if you need to contact her and you're not on Ravelry, she'll give you the link. If you're on Ravelry, that link is posted in the thread. Also, our virtual knit-togethers are going on hold for several months because we have family event conflicts. So that means during the months of May, June, July, August, so far we know of conflicts, we will not be holding our daytime knit-togethers or our evening knit nights. We will keep you updated on that as it changes, but for right now, we will resume or plan on at least revisiting the idea in September. The mini meetup. Okay, so we do need a secretary. You all know that, right? I have been putting the wrong dates in the show notes for our Chicago mini meetup. Please note the correction. We are meeting Saturday and Sunday, July 29th and 30th, right?
It's Friday and Saturday. 29th
Thank
and
you.
30th.
Thank you. You've got a job. Thank you for being my secretary. Friday and Saturday, July 29th and 30th. So if you're interested, please visit the thread in Ravelry. My dear sister Dawn has corrected my errors. Thank you so much. And also the instructions for booking a room. If you want to get into Chicago a day early so that you might want to visit some of the local shops or whatever, the hotel is offering us a discount for Thursday night as well. So please join us. Honorable mentions, Dawn, take it away before I mess up anything else.
I had the opportunity to meet Miss Sandy and Miss Irene for lunch last week. So Miss Sandy makes our bags for giveaways, and I have another whole boatload of bags for gifts, which is amazing. We got to celebrate Sandy's birthday as well. And she gave me a couple skeins of yarn to pick from. So watch for those in upcoming projects. But it was just delightful to have lunch with the ladies. So we all converged in Kenosha for a nice couple hours of lunch and knitting at Starbucks for a while. So happy birthday, Miss Sandy. It was great to see you. Good to see you too, Miss Irene. And I look forward to the next time. We need to figure out where we can just hang out for like hours or days.
Yes, because that's how we measure our knitting, not by hours, but by days.
That's right.
All right. So thank you so much, everyone. We cannot end an episode, though, without sharing a nugget from our dear, faithful Nikki. And this episode's, I'm going to say encouragement is this. Take a moment to thank those who have helped you along the way. They are the reason you had success. And I'm just going to say this, Nikki, it's going to embarrass the stew out of you, but that's okay. She's retiring after 41 years of teaching.
Yeah.
And now she is beginning to get little trinkets of appreciation. And sister, you wrote this months ago, but now you're reaping the benefit. You are the reason so many of your students have not only had success, but pleasure. So thank you for investing in the children of Iowa for all those years. And to the rest of you, thank you for joining us during this episode, and we hope your week is a sweet twist of the frivolous and frugal. Take care, and we'll see you in episode 82. Bye-bye.
Bye.